Hey guys, welcome back to the Slept On podcast, where we talk to the creatives you should know before everyone else does. Today we have on Glossy Boy. Hello.
Hi.
How are we all doing today?
Very
Yeah,
good.
good, thank you. How are you doing?
Good. Yeah, very well, thank you. Enjoying the sun.
Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh my God,
Still cold though.
so bloody British talking about the weather. I'm so sorry.
30 seconds in. Right back.
Straight away. So you're a three-piece self-described indie pop band. Let's start with the origin story. How long have you been Glossy Boy, and what's the story behind the name?
We've been Glossy Boy for just over 2 years now. Although we've known each other a lot longer since school, since children. So what was that, like 15 years, something like that?
Yeah.
And Glossy Boy, the name comes from the fact we're all from Gloucestershire, hence Glossy Boy. Sounds obvious now, but it took us quite a while to come up with that one. I'm not gonna lie, there was a lot of names that didn't make the cut. Some of them were just very random, but yeah, that's the story
go
of that
on.
name.
Please share.
I think at one point I really liked the name Pug, but it was it sounded a little too sort of punk or grungy for the sounds that we were definitely making. I don't think we could really have the conviction for a band like Pug.
Is that Pug?
Yeah, like the dog.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, punk is a way to describe
I
that.
was going to say, like, either punk or, like, kind of weirdly cutesy.
Yeah, it's
One of
one
it's-
way or the other. But another
Either
thing we
way.
found is like any name we came up with already existed. We'd come up with a really cool name. Like Zach, you wanted to call ourselves Nala, like the lion from Lion King, which I actually really loved. But about 3 bands called Nala with every iteration of the spelling, they're already out there. So like, damn. But
Right.
that was also an issue.
Yeah. Ryan, I saw you were doing that when you said you're from Gloucestershire.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah, I'm repping the Wiltshire.
Okay.
We've got the Glossy connection. We all met in Gloucestershire. That was
Okay.
Ryan had to, like, do, like, 40-minute train journeys to school every day because he's, like,
No.
out.
That's not so bad. It's not so bad.
And, like,
Yeah.
I mean, you say it's not so bad, but the poor guy, like, throughout all of our childhoods, he would come to our houses, but, like, we never took the trip to his.
Yeah,
You'd outsource him.
yeah. When yeah, I was gonna say Ryan got married last year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we went to his house before because it was local, and I think that might have been the second time in my whole life that I've been to his house.
First time was, well, can we say what the first time was?
Oh, was that when we went to see McFly?
Yeah,
We went to
yeah.
see
I just wanted
McFly
to
at
check
Swindon
that was
Oasis.
cool. We're good.
Oh no, that's cool. That's cool. I'm saying that's cool. Swindon Oasis as well, great venue.
Yeah. I'd love to see McFly, but you know what? I was always more of a Busted girl.
Oh,
Oh, well,
I mean-
I'm seeing the joint tour this year that they're doing in
so
October,
jealous.
so I'm hyped for that. But I don't know how they're going to do it with 2 bands on the same time, but I'm looking forward to finding out.
Well, just going back to speaking about how you guys met, I read that there was like a brass band meet cute situation.
Oh yeah. Well, big band, Mr. Godfrey's epic
shout out.
Thursday lunchtime's big band.
Where it
Yes.
all began.
Yeah,
Yes,
like,
yeah.
we had this amazing music teacher who, well, brought us all together, which was lovely. But yeah, he ran all sorts of things, but the big band was his kind of pride and joy. And so we spent many years. Actually, that was our first musical encounter together, right? I don't think we played in a band before that.
Yeah, we did like orchestras together. Like Zach, you were violining, weren't you? And I was on clarinet, and Ryan still plays the trumpet. I haven't played the clarinet in about 10 years, but yeah, orchestras as well were a meeting point.
Right. So is that where the trumpet cameo came in the Lick music video?
Yeah. Yeah, basically, any chance I get to have a little toot, it's coming.
Ryan, I say regularly, is like, guys, do we think a trumpet would add to this song?
This new trumpet.
Every song.
I mean, it adds
Yeah,
something.
we got it.
Again-
We got it. Why not? Why not? Fall?
Yeah, why not? And you said that one of you travelled all the way to Manchester for that trumpet.
Oh, Ryan.
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't even for a trumpet. My goodness, that was because It's not the sound we ended up going with, but I really, really wanted a muted sound, a Joe Rowell bubble mute for my trumpet. Also partly because I characteristically, chaotically left my normal trumpet mute at home. But yeah, we were in Macclesfield recording, and I suddenly had a bit of a, oh dear, I don't have my kit. I'm going to have to pop to Manchester to buy a mute. So that was my mistake.
Yeah, we just disappeared for 5 hours, and we were like, well, hopefully he'll come back at some point.
And when he did come back with mute in hand, he probably dropped it straight away and dented it.
I don't know, guys. That's pretty rock and roll, if you ask
Pretty
me.
rock and roll, yeah.
It's can you say mute's a relict?
Yeah.
So you all met in Gloucestershire or Wiltshire, we're in. Who was the mastermind behind the decision to come together and start releasing music as Glossy Boy?
Well, I had done some solo stuff when I moved to London. I sort of started doing sort of home recordings and releasing them during the pandemic, actually. And they were pretty rudimentary kind of recordings. So they're still there. They exist under my name on Spotify. I wouldn't encourage you to listen to them too much. So I started doing that, and then I started gigging around, and I thought I'd like a full band sound. So I got in contact with these guys because we'd done like cover bands at school and sort of played like friends' parties and stuff, and it was always good fun. And we did a few rehearsals, and then we did a couple of gigs, sort of just my songs. And then they got a taste of the limelight, and they didn't like just being the band or my backing band. So they're like, why don't we start making music together? And then I was like, well, that sounds fun. And I must admit, I was a bit reticent because I was very protective of my songs. I may be stubborn as well, but once I started doing it, I was like, well, this is definitely the better option. Because they made the songs better, and they sounded better, and also means splitting costs 3 ways as well. But yeah, since then, and then
Musical and mercenary, I like it.
but yeah, since then we just sort of never looked back really, and it's definitely a lot more fun to play, and a lot prouder of the songs we're making as well together.
Amazing. So I have to ask, what is the music scene like in Gloucestershire?
We actually wouldn't really know, right?
Yeah,
we haven't live in or around London, but we do like. I mean, we have a few. I mean, I'm going to say friends. People. Hang on, this sounds bad now. I don't know how to backpedal from this without sounding like a dick. We have a few friends, but we haven't seen them for a long time. So, who are also from Gloucester. There's a person called Cordelia O'Driscoll, who you might have heard of. She did the Little Life TikTok viral song. Right? So there's a few artists from Gloucestershire who also now live in London, who are like doing pretty well. There's also someone called Katie J. Pearson, who's making waves. I think she's on her 2nd or 3rd album now. Much more successful.
Yeah, I think 3rd, yeah. Yeah, we saw her at Glastonbury, didn't we?
Yeah, we saw her at
Glastonbury
on the Park stage. So
did actually go to Stroud College with her to do Art Foundation. We didn't really know each other, but that's my claim to fame.
Nice.
Mate.
But anyway, there's a good scene that has come out of Stroud, I'd say.
Yeah, I think it's actually a really musical town, to be honest, and very creative. I think a lot of people that don't live in Stroud love to visit it, saying it's very a creative space, and we kind of took that for granted when we went to school there. We didn't sort of realize it. Well, I definitely didn't either until sort of after the fact. But yeah, it's I used to have some really cool like festivals. I don't know if they still do like the Stroud Fringe anymore.
Yeah.
I think a lot of things have sort of been lost in post-pandemic world. But
I mean, you've still got WOMAD in Gloucestershire as well, which was
oh yeah, that was always good. That was like our formative festival experiences.
Of Reading was this WOMAD, which is like an amazing world music festival. That was
WOMAD.
WOMAD. It's like
okay, I've not heard of that one.
For World of Music, Arts and Dance.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think it was started, wasn't it Pete Gabriel that started it?
Gabriel, yeah. Anyway, so whilst like other 16-year-olds were like going to Reading and like drinking loads, taking loads of drugs, we were like wholesomely chilling out at a world
Vibing at work. Do you
With
know what,
Zach's
though? I love
parents.
that. One of the best festivals I ever went to was Bingley Weekender. I don't know
Okay.
if you've heard of it.
I haven't heard of it, but it sounds great.
So It's in Bradford and Bingley, right? And I only went to see the Libertines because I'm like a diehard Libertines fan. And it was so cool. Like, it was just like 2 days, no camping, and it was all just like new up and coming artists. And then suddenly, randomly, at the end of the day, you had like the Pixies, the Libertines, and the Amazons, I think.
Wow,
So,
that's a great
yeah, it
lineup.
was really fun. I'd recommend that. Big up Bingley Weekender.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's speak more about your current music. First of all, congratulations on your recent release of Iguana. It has been stuck in my head. Now that it's out in the world, how are you feeling about it?
Yeah, great.
Yeah, that was a big pause, but honestly, yeah, I love it. I think I'm gonna let Ryan you say because I know this is one of your favourites to be released.
Yeah, it is. I've got a bit, probably from my dad. I've got a bit of the kind of metal and rock in my background. So this track is definitely one where we explore that side of ourselves and pushed into a slightly heavier sound that we maybe haven't ventured towards before. So I've absolutely loved the process of recording it, and yeah, I sometimes find it so cringe to listen back to myself, but I don't mind it with one. It's so hooky. I can quite happily pop that on whilst I'm making tea or whatever.
Yeah, I think it was actually originally Ryan's idea, the whole song really, because I think if memory serves me right, we saw that they did like, they do like Tate Lates. They were doing like a late thing at London Zoo, and they had musicians there. And Ryan said, "Oh, we should try and play here, although we don't have any songs to do with animals." And then he sort of was trying to brainstorm animals that would rhyme, and then so he come up with iguana. You could do like if you wanna iguana, something like that. And then from there, we kind of went there and sort of reverse engineered it into a song that actually meant more than just an iguana. And then sort of based off that riff and sort of went from there. But yeah, it was definitely a fun one because, yeah, as Ryan said, it's a sort of heavier than our usual sound, which was kind of quite freeing, really, because you could just go ham with it and see.
I think you've credited me too heavily there. I think basically I've said some words and they wrong.
That's half the battle, mate, honestly. Starting point is the springboard.
I actually came prepared in honor of your new release. I have this massive crocodile thing that I actually had for Halloween, but he's so comfy. So I kept him. What's the deal with the crocodile for your iguana artwork?
Well, they don't make inflatable iguanas, or essentially where we could see them. But yeah, I don't really know who
Back
came
in
up
the
with
market, guys.
that. Right? What are they doing?
Chris, I
don't
think
really know who mentioned that first.
I think you did it. I think it was just you were like, "Oh, we should get an inflatable."
I think you know what? I think because we were doing the photo shoot, and we wanted to get some photos from that for these sort of upcoming single covers, and we knew for Lick, our previous one, we wanted like an ice cream. So what object can we do for iguana? We can't get an iguana. So I thought, well, let's get like this inflatable scaly crocodile and just do his foot or something. That's quite reptilian. And I think we only intended to use a section of it, but then he's sort of become like a mascot for the song, really, in this sort of this recent era. So yeah,
I like it.
Nice.
It's really cool. It's really striking.
Takes a while to blow up, longer than you'd think. You have to do sort of two sections at the same time. And it's
multiple times.
Well, the song will be the opposite. So you've mentioned before that Iguana is about falling for someone who's no good for you, which I think a lot of people can relate to. How much do real life experiences shape your lyrics?
Let Chris take this one.
Honestly, these days it's less sort of actual real life factual things, more just like emotions I remember feeling at a time and sort of building on those, and they're pretty sort of generic in their sense. I mean, there's never, full disclosure, there was never someone in my life that Iguana is about. There was never sort of someone that
you
was
heard it
so
here
sort
first,
of like
guys.
dangerous or whatever, but it's just more of like just
This is the question I want you to ask, and he's now trying to
listen. I gave you time at the beginning of this podcast.
No, I will say I don't think any one song in our repertoire is about any one specific person. It is just memories of feelings and emotions, sort of to base it off really loosely.
That's completely true.
Yes, I'd say that's completely true, and that's
no comment.
Well, listen, even if you hadn't experienced it, I'd say a lot of people have. I can relate to that feeling. So yeah, as we were saying, it's one of your heaviest tracks that you've released. It kind of reminded me of like Royal Blood or Black Honey, slightly. Is this a move towards more experimental work, or is it just sort of like a one-off?
Not really sure. I will admit that this is the first song. This is the first song that got us the BBC Introducing Play, which is something we've been gunning for a while. So it got on
Congratulations.
BBC Introducing. Thank you. It got on BBC Introducing in the West, and we were chuffed with that. And they were very complimentary about it, and they liked the new sound. And we were thinking, oh, yeah, we should sort of pivot more towards this. But we'll see. I mean, I think the good thing about the stage where we're at, that being no one knows who the hell we are, we can just kind of do what we want, which is quite nice to have that freedom. So maybe that one was a bit heavy, maybe the next one will be lighter or have elements of it. And I think every time we make a new song, we take stock of what came from the one before and what worked, what didn't, and kind of move from there really and see what happens. So yeah, maybe a heavier one again will be in the pipeline, maybe not. We just don't really know, but it's exciting to see.
I think there's lots of the heaviness in our, like, if we think about who we were listening to growing up, like there's a lot of heavier stuff, not like metal ends apart from Ryan and his, but like we were listening to, like, you know, a lot of White Stripes, Green Day, Arctic Monkeys back in the day when they actually did heavy stuff. Like,
and the Raw Blood
kind of repertoire of, like, as listeners. So I think in a way Iguana worked well for us because it made sense like very quickly, where some other songs don't make sense so quickly and they're kind of harder to work with. So like, but as Chris said, I think we're still like finding our sounds. Like every song is an opportunity to like go somewhere a bit new and like try and figure out how we can take something that we've heard before but make it our own and a bit different.
Let's talk more about Lick, which was your single before Iguana, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that has actually been haunting me. It's so catchy. I love the chorus. And I read a quote where you said your music brings back that early noughties indie pop sound. And I think Lick really nails that. So if you each had to pick one early 2000s band to collaborate with, any genre, it could be the Sugar Babes, for example, who would it be and why?
For me, oh God, for me, it's always going to have to be McFly. No mentioned them earlier, and the thing is, I think when we were growing up, McFly and Buster were kind of considered, for lack of a better word, a bit lame, which I think is just madness because they're great, and I think it's nice that they kind of come round. Maybe it's the nostalgia bubble, I don't know, but they've come correct, and everyone seems to like them now, which is great, or admit that they like them the whole time, which is awesome. And they're just really cool guys, really talented guys. I've met 3 of them, not to brag, and they're very lovely.
Okay.
So yeah, still got Danny to meet. He's the most. Yeah, it's Tom, Harry, and Dougie I've met. Tom, actually, fun story. I was busking at Waterloo Station and I saw Tom from a distance. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to start playing All About You. And he clocked it and he filmed me for a bit, put me on his Instagram story, and got a photo with him, and that was really sweet.
That's
And
lovely.
yeah, so yeah, got to be McFly for me any day of the week.
Cool.
Ryan, do you want to go? I'm still thinking.
So
Yeah.
Ryan, who's put you on their Instagram story?
Who have you met around?
My wife. Zach mentioned Green Day. I think that's probably quite a strong one for me. I think even before I met these guys, that was something I was rocking out to. Like going back to the thing, we all met in orchestras. I was very much more your kind of classical, your trumpet, whatever. But I had a guitar at home, and I would just stick Green Day on and pretend I was Billy Joe Armstrong. Why not? And now playing the bass as well. Like Mike Dern makes some sick sounds, so I'd love to get in a room with him and jam and just learn how he does it.
Amazing. And what's your favorite Green Day song?
Well, I think the one I was always doing was kind of like Jesus of Suburbia. You know, the modern kind of punk Bohemian Rhapsody that it was. I think these days I quite like Longview.
A sick bass line, that one.
Yeah.
And finally, Zach, have you thought?
Yeah. So, yeah. Such a hard question. I think I was gonna say someone a bit curveball who's like very out of genre for us, because like Chris and Ryan will tell you that I love like bringing in reference points that are just like wildly different,
Okay.
just because I think it's fun. But I actually think Avril Lavigne is just a sick vocalist, and I also
Amazing.
love male female like duets. So I
Mhm.
think the opportunity to bring her in would be just like insane. And she's a great vocalist, and God, the album she's putting out in the noughties were like unbelievable.
Oh God, yeah. Listen, when I was like 13, I used to pretend I was Avril Lavigne.
Nice.
Like blasting happy ending in the shower, like honestly. Yeah. Great choice, guys. Like I love all of those. So talking about your songs, what comes first for you, the music or the lyrics when it comes to creating?
It really differs each time. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes it will just come together all at the same time. One of our songs, the first song we ever released, "Hey Julia," was one that I wrote years ago, or the start of it at uni, and it kind of all just came together on the day. I'm not going to lie. That sounds. I was like, oh yeah, whatever, but it actually did. It's quite a simplistic song, to be honest. But I think once I'd figured out the rhymes for Julia, or the half rhymes, I was like, well, that's it now. I need to build it around that. Um, but a recent song I'm writing, which hasn't even finished yet. I really wanted the lyrics to be like quite fun to sing. Like one of my favorite bands, 1975. A lot of their songs are great to sing along to, because the lyrics, just the rhythms of the words, are just really satisfying to sing along to, and I kind of wanted to emulate something like that. So that's what I'm kind of going for with this one, and that was like a lot of focus on the words and how the rhythms of them would work, but then also make sense as words as well. So that was quite an interesting angle to go for this one. Yeah.
I think there's something in your songwriting style that I like a lot. Is there's a little bit of Ed Sheeran, the Ed Sheeran style when he's doing the kind of almost rapping style stuff, when like the words are just flowing and flowing. There's something in that you sometimes do, Chris, which is really as a drummer I really appreciate. Like it's this verbal rhythm which is just fantastic to build around.
And are we talking like notes app, voice notes? What's the process?
Oh,
Like,
voice
do you get
notes.
something? Voice notes. Okay,
So
you've
many
kind of
voice
landed
notes.
yourself in it there. Do you have any voice notes of early sort of ideas of songs that we now know that you could play for us?
I actually do. I think
Amazing. Thank you.
I didn't come correct on this, but I didn't come prepared. But so we got one from 12th of April 2023. Was I think my first start of experimenting with lick, and I called it Lick Cannonball at the time.
Okay.
The end of the chorus is like do a cannonball, like dive into in the water. I think that's kind of what I wanted. I think I was listening to a lot of Vaccines,
Right.
and there's this song called Jump Off the Top, which they do, which is very simple, just them singing Jump Off the Top all the time. And I thought, it just makes you think of summer, diving into swimming pool. And I thought, I want to write a song like that, and something chanty as well. And then somehow the word L-I-C-K came about, and I built it around that. But yeah, I only realized sort of now after writing it and performing it a lot that it's very quite explicit lyrics that I didn't really intend them to be. And now when we sort of sing them out, it's a bit like, oh, okay. Maybe I should have sort of made it a little more generic. But
you just sort of make eye contact with your grandma in the audience, like.
Yeah. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, we did have to do the clean version for my wedding, actually, didn't we?
Yes,
we did a little kind of 15-minute thing.
What's the clean version?
Well, instead of thoughts of fucking, I think it's thought of loving. So change fucking to loving, and then you got yourself a clean song.
Yeah, you weddingized it.
Yeah, and there is a line about getting married in it, which was nice because we only really realized that on the day of Ryan's wedding when we sing, because we played at Ryan's wedding, and when I was singing it, I was like, oh, that's nice. That's that works for the situation we're in. So that was quite a nice moment.
It led to a very iconic wedding photo of Ryan playing the bass at that moment in the song, kissing his new bride, which was perfect moment.
Going back to Hey Julia, who is Julia?
Again, Julia is no one. Julia is no one in
Is
particular.
everyone. No, Chris.
Julia is everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone's Julia. You're Julia. I'm Julia. We're all Julia.
You're saying hello
but
to everyone.
Exactly. But it's actually quite funny. I made a TikTok where I basically introduced it saying, Julia, this is your song. And it's quite an old one, but since it's kind of just kept ticking over, and every now and then, and pretty much every day, we get a new Julia in the comments saying, I'm Julia, from like all over the world. And like, it's just quite funny. The comment section of that video is now filled with everyone called Julia. So hopefully all the
Amazing.
Julias will eventually find themselves in this comment section of this video.
We have a niche audience.
Yes, they're all called Julia. We're lucky enough that we've managed to get a small section of actual fans, as in people that we didn't know or friends of friends or anyone that completely organically found us through TikTok or whatever. Usually from places in Europe, Sweden. We got some Dutch contingencies.
Polish.
One,
Well,
yeah. I was just going to say one of them came all the way from Germany to see one of our gigs. Her and a friend, and she made us these bracelets. I don't know if you can see these, but they say Glossy Boy on.
Oh, amazing.
And I always wear mine because it's just like, it's quite nice to be reminded that someone that I didn't know actually found us from our music and liked it, which was awesome. I almost lost it the other day, and I was like, I was actually surprisingly quite upset, but I found it, so it's all good.
That must feel so encouraging to have that, because I think as well, you know, you can see Spotify streams online, but having an actual face to the numbers and things like that, it must be very validating. Since building a fan base, have there been any unexpected challenges or moments that you weren't prepared for since sort of entering the industry and building Glossy Boy?
I'm not sure really. I think finding out people are listening and caring about what comes next is a little bit of sort of like, oh, we should probably do something and get something from them. Yeah, I think also just the weird sort of bridge between sort of coming off stage and then meeting these people that you don't know except through comments and messages or whatever on like TikTok Live is a bit of a surreal moment, because it's like, well, I'm talking to you and you know a lot about us and a lot about me because of our music, but I don't really know anything about you. And then you're sort of getting to know them, but then there's also keeping the distance as well because of like the pressures and of the like the music and the band and the fans and stuff. And it's just, yeah, it's something we don't really know about. It's very new to us. So, but it's really nice when we meet people at the end of gigs and they're just genuinely excited about our songs, which is
I
I
think it's also like, so it's just such a roller coaster as well, because I mean, obviously we're like super small, very early emerging stage, but like every time you get a win every so often. So like BBC Introducing was a great win, and like the moment when we started getting fans who were like actually clearly kind of like dedicated to us and like really wanted to interact and like listen to the music loads. Like there are these moments when you're like, oh damn, this is great, like we're making progress. I think for every one of those moments, there's honestly thousands of the opposite of like, oh, we're working so hard. We've like, this is like, I mean, Chris takes a lot of the brunt because he does all of our social stuff, but like, oh my God, this is the like 15th video we've done this week and none of them are performing very well at all. Like the streams aren't moving. It's easy to get a bit fixated on the numbers.
Yeah, case in point recently, because obviously festival season's coming up, we went on a tirade of applying to basically any festival that had the option to apply to. So across sort of the end of last year and start of this year. And we received no exceptions at all. No one has replied and said, come play our festival. We've had a lot of rejections. And that has been quite like a knockback, because it's like, well, what is it that the music's not good enough? Are we filling in the forms wrong? Because you never get any feedback. You're just like, nah, not this time. And we come close. I think last year we did like a sort of Battle of the Bands-esque thing for Isle of Wight Festival. I think we got the semi-finals of that. And
Amazing.
I think we're on a shortlist for Truck Festival like a couple years ago, but sort of never made it far. But then it's like, with things like that, it's out of your control at the end of the day. And if they don't like it, that's fine. So we sort of focus on things that we can control, which is essentially the music. And, you know, we can do what we like with that and make it as best as we can. And then put it out there and just see what happens and hope for the best. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, we still know that it's music that we're proud of, and that's at the end of the day, that's all that matters, really.
Absolutely. And I feel like that is such good advice for people who are just starting out, just sort of creating their own music for the first time. And sort of in that, in the same vein, do you think that having skills outside of music, like graphic design, content creation, or production, is a big advantage? Chris, I know you do the album artwork. So would you say that that's something up and coming artists should take into account?
Definitely helps. I mean, because we don't have to sort of outsource for designs like that, because we do it all in house, we have a lot more freedom. We can really fully sort of brand everything we do and create kind of like a cohesive identity, like visual identity across everything you do, which I think makes a big difference. I think to make sort of the front of your house look good is always going to encourage people to come in. Terrible metaphor there. I'd love to be able to know how to produce. It would definitely save us a lot of money. But that being said, having an external source is really good for just difference of opinion, an outside view, outside sort of set of ears, and it also gives us a chance to work with some really cool people. And personally, I'd spend the most money on that, because that's, I think, what makes the difference. And I think it proves it between sort of songs, every song we release, the difference in sort of the end result, depending on who we go to. I mean, they're all great, the people we work with, but it's like it sort of shows the difference between them, and different styles makes a big difference. It's great.
And I recently came across some of your press shoots. I loved the ones taken in the laundrette. Who was the photographer for that?
Oh my God, this amazing photographer called Colette. So I'm one of my colleagues, basically. So I work closely with designers. I don't work for the same company as Chris, but I work closely with a lot of designers in my company. And one of them is best mates with this amazing photographer called Colette. And she has done like bits of Vogue stuff, like lots of cool fashion editorial style shots. So it's like classic case of getting lucky with a friend of a friend. And yeah, she just did an absolutely amazing job.
Yeah, that was really good, because your friend Zach from work, Eleanor, was sort of art directing the shoot, which is great to have. Sort of just tell us where to post, which I think we struggle with. And then Colette, she, as well as sort of basically had the whole day with them, which was great to have that flexibility and sort of different locations. And she also gave us the opportunity to shoot on film, which we opted for, which gives it a really nice sort of look about it. But yeah, definitely look her up on all the socials. I think it's Collective, but we do always tag her in the post whenever we put the photos up. But yeah, we managed to get a lot of legwork out of these photos across posters and covers and stuff.
Yeah, I'll be sure to tag her below, because they were really striking. But in the photos, I have a very specific question for Ryan. I saw one photo. I hope you know which one I'm referring to. I will include it in the video, where you almost look as if you're holding yourself up horizontally. And if you did, that's amazing core strength. Do you know which one I'm referring to?
It's when you're sort of bent over us, Ryan, when we're quite close up in front of the door of the washing machine, because the way you're
like
cut
levitating.
off, it's like you're like
Oh, right, yeah, that's shot through the window of the washing machine.
Yeah.
I can't remember how I did that now.
I think it helps. You're quite tall, and I think you're on a bench. Yeah, there we go. You've totally did. I've never noticed that before.
I thought she's trained for like months to be able to.
No, that photo was fine, but the bench I had to kind of lean on for it. There was another one. I can't remember if we ended up using it.
I think we've just used it.
Bent over backwards like that, and that was very painful.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that
it's digging into your neck on that one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The scene behind the photo is a scene of pain.
Yeah, getting the backstage gossip. So what's next for you guys? What can fans look forward to? Any upcoming releases or shows?
So yeah, we got this. We've we got the sports show at the Troubadour on the 27th of March. Troubadour's a great venue. Played there a couple of times. Ian, who runs it, awesome guy, just all about the music, and it's just a classic venue. And then after that, we're going back into the studio in a couple of months' time to hopefully record as much as we can. We always have grand plans to record a lot, but then we end up doing 2 songs on the day. But hopefully the start of our next EP, we got some songs written, or parts of songs written that we've sort of played with live and gauged audience reactions. So we think we're in a pretty good place to start sort of getting these down and bringing some new sounds and ideas. So yeah, excited for the new recordings to be done for sure.
Great, amazing. Can't wait for that. And where can people grab your merch? I was checking it out and I love the caps. If you wanted to send me one, don't feel like you can't, but where can people find them?
So we have a Shopify. All the links are in our socials, or you can just Google Glossy Boy merch. I believe will get you where you need to be. But always on our socials, there'll be a link leading to it. And we have caps, t-shirts, tote bags, all sorts, and they're very reasonably priced, if I do say so myself. And they will also include a little free sticker. Just one, you won't get a whole bag. Some sweeties and a little note from us as well. So it's the personal touch.
Lovely. Yeah, I love that. And just before you go, can you each give me one artist that you think is slept on, that you think more people should be listening to?
Yes.
I'm wondering how within genre I need to be here.
Any genre. Any genre.
I'm gonna plug a friend of mine. She's called Fran Lusty. She is like indie folk artist. Play her a few gigs. She's awesome. Her songwriting's great. I think she's going to be big, to be honest. She's on the cusp. She's getting more and more like radio plays on like Radio 1, more festivals. Great songwriter. Just listen to Fran Lusty, specifically her song Brother. Gorgeous song.
Okay, thank you.
I reckon there's a band called Still Pigeon, who we have kind of like, I don't even quite know how we stumbled across them first, but anyway, we kind of like been roughly in each other's circles, in each other's DMs and stuff. But they are amazing. And they've been getting they've been getting good momentum recently. Had a couple of BBC introducing players, I believe. They were on Avalon stage at Glastonbury last year, I think. Anyway, they are just like awesome, like synth pop kind of vibes, and have a great sound. Feels really unique. Yeah, they hope they go far.
Okay, amazing. Thank you. And Ryan, any to add?
Resisting the temptation to say some classical composer. I think what is a lot of fun is we've been to gigs before, Zach, I think, where it's kind of like lots of brassy, saxy, kind of loud beats, and really good to groove to. Hackney Colliery Band is an absolutely awesome brass band. Do you guys know them?
I feel like you've mentioned them to me before.
Have a listen. They're awesome.
Okay, amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate it. Troubadour gig on the 27th of March, guys. Don't miss it.
Oh, sorry. Also, just remembered, the music video to Iguana is out today, 20th Feb at 5 p.m. So that'll be out probably when this comes out. So go watch it, because it's all like sort of done on After Effects, and it took me quite a while. So please go watch it.
Perfect. Well, that'll be linked down below, so go and check that out, guys. Again, thank you so much for coming on. It was lovely to meet you three, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks so much.
Good one.
Cheers.
Yes.
Hey.